before I even begin the video, I want to explain to you guys how we shorted Tesla to the bottom. Okay, let's take a trip down memory lane. We went short on Tesla at 386. Congratulations, Ahmed. You went short at 386. You want a cookie? Yes, but here's the thing: we went short at 386. When did we cover? When did we take profit on our puts? Did we take profit when it dropped down to 360? No. How about 350? 340? We held on to the puts. I did not sell them until this morning's open. When we opened this morning, that's when I covered my puts. The puts were up. Guess how much? 200% a contract. They were up. We ended up taking profits on the puts, and then we ended up going long. The longs were up 20%. If there was ever some sort of a joke to make with Tesla, like a train wreck, something like that, we drove it to the ground, and then we bought the dip. So this is not a gimmick. This is not a game. This is going on every single day right in front of your eyes in the Discord. You could see with timestamps. You could see everything right in front of you. And this is not to say... The thing right now with my swing trades is I have a higher success rate with my swing trades for the year of 2025 than Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the best basketball shooter of all time. He only has a 91% success rate for his free throws. I have a 95% success rate for my swing trades for this year so far. You can't make this stuff up. This is happening right in front of everyone. You can't make it up. I mean, this is not a joke. This is not a gimmick. There's no way for me to lie because there's hundreds of people in the group watching exactly what I'm doing. It is what it is. You can't fake this. So if you guys want access, very, very simply, just click the link down below. You got a 7-day free trial. I'm not sure how long it's going to be, 7 days, but it is what it is. I hope you guys really take advantage of this because things are about to really, really change. Things are about to really ramp up as well. And swing trading is like the best because you really don't need to think too much. You just enjoy and let the market move for you. So if you guys want access, click the link down below. And we're going to take a look at what the next steps are for the market, honestly. We're going to take a look at what's going to happen with the SPY, the NASDAQ, how much lower we're going to go, CPI data, tech stocks, the VIX, all that good stuff. So if you guys are enjoying the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And let's get started with the rest of the video. 2025 is going to be a monster year. Do not take this for granted. What I'm doing right now, there's no one on the internet that's doing what I'm doing. Okay? So please, I'm trying to say this humbly. Do not take this for granted. Let's get started. Okay? All right, guys. So number one, according to SPX seasonality, we get a bit of a pop heading into, so, this is February, right? We get a bit of a pop heading into the middle of the month, third week of the month. Bullish pop, and then we end up getting a big drop. And, that's most likely, that's why everyone is saying we're going to get a bit of a drop heading into March or April, etc. It's because of seasonality. So I'm continuing to lean a bit bullish on the market, okay? Not just based off of seasonality. This is just reason number one. Reason number two. Here is where things get interesting. And this is where things get really, really disgusting, honestly. So, like I said, maybe a few weeks ago, I said, guys, expect this market to become very choppy. I didn't just say it for no reason. I had a very strong feeling that the market was going to be very, very choppy. That's exactly what ended up happening. And one of the main reasons is because we're getting to a point where the new year began, where seasonality-wise, things are not going to be as bullish, bearish, etc. But now moving forward, what is going on with the overall market? So this is the daily chart of the S&P 500 futures, okay? This is a bull flag. Bull flags tend to be very bullish. Clearly, you could see that there is a lot of difficulty for the market to drop lower. Regardless of CPI data, regardless of any other data that's coming out, the market is not breaking below 603 on the SPY. We periodically dropped to 598. By the way, we were short on the market. We made money on the market to the downside. If you guys remember the last video, I was saying that this is not going to just be a straight up move. We're going to probably drop. With that drop, we made money on the downside on SPY and QQQ puts. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, regardless, I do believe this is still setting up for new all-time highs. And the market in general should be rising here. We should, as long as we can hold this 6,020 level on the ES. More specifically, if we could hold just 6,000 in general, the market wants to rise. All of these dips feel like buying opportunities. So just purely based off of the S&P 500 futures setup, and if we also look at we can just take a look at the Qs, the NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ is also showing a bullish setup, guys. This is really, really difficult to be extremely bearish on the market at the moment. Yes, we have news coming out tomorrow morning. Regardless of the news, let's take a step back and try to just take a deep breath and understand. Objectively speaking, right now, the setup that we're getting on the overall market is bullish. This is still a very bullish setup. We're getting a lot of buyers. Today was a perfect opportunity for them to just continue dropping it. Perfect opportunity. If we did not bounce like this intraday, right? We gapped down lower. We could have held resistance at 527 and continued falling. That's not what ended up happening. We ended up almost basically breaking new highs. It's very tough to be bearish. And that's the issue. The issue right now on the NASDAQ and the SPY is it's very difficult to be either bullish or bearish. But just objectively speaking right now, the setup is bullish. Does that make sense? The setup is bullish on both. I don't know how long it's going to take to finally break above. We might end up dropping down lower. But regardless, even if we do drop down to 518, 520, these are still good dip buying opportunities. I was saying earlier, I wouldn't mind. I personally would not mind if they ended up dropping it a bit lower. Why not? Let them drop it a bit lower. Let them make new lows and really, really mess with bulls and bears on both directions. Let them mess around with everyone. Let's see what ends up happening. But regardless, objectively, this is a bullish setup on both the SPY and the NASDAQ. On the IWM, this is objectively, this is a pretty crappy setup. This is a bear flag. Bear flags are bearish. They drop to the downside. So, anyway, bear flags are bearish. And just the thing is, with the IWM, we're at a level of support. If CPI data was really, really hot, they knew about CPI data coming out ahead of time. So this is not something new. And the economically sensitive stocks get affected by CPI data a lot. Banks, the XLF, the IWM gets affected a lot, right? So that's why it was the biggest loser today. It did not bounce. The IWM did not bounce in the same veracity that the SPY and the NASDAQ bounced today. So again, like if the SPY and the NASDAQ are going to bounce, I would rather be long on the SPY or the NASDAQ instead of trying to long the loser. Does that make sense? There's more money to be made playing the long side in a stock that is the stronger one, instead of trying to go long the loser and saying, oh, wow, the risk reward, we get a much higher probability if we end up going up. There's 4% gain still to the upside, whereas on the SPY, there's not that much percentage gain. It's only about 1%. Don't look at it this way. Do not trade this way. Do not look at the market this way. If the IWM is the weakest of the three, it's probably not the safest to go long. Does that make sense? Objectively speaking, right now, the IWM, the situation right now on the IWM is completely dependent on how much the S&P and the NASDAQ bounces. Yes, we did open outside of the lower level of the Bollinger Bands today on the IWM. Yes, we did bounce back into the Bollinger Bands, right? This is not an automatic reason to be bullish. I'm not looking, oh my God, wow, it's a great setup. Time to go long. Not at all. Does that make sense? So I hope, just objectively speaking, does this look like a bullish setup? Of course not, right? Where would you rather be long? Where would you rather put your money? The SPY and the NASDAQ, in my opinion. And that's that. So this is an issue. This is currently an issue for the market. If the IWM really got its act together, yeah, by all means, look, like, I wouldn't be bearish. I would not be bearish on the IWM here. That's for sure. That is for sure. I would not be bearish on the IWM. But would I want to put my money to the long side? Absolutely not. There's way better opportunities. There's just better opportunities to make money. Hope that makes sense. But now here's where things get interesting. Okay? So the two main stocks that I really, really want to drive home and why I think the market wants to bounce is Tesla. Number one, you know, we shorted the highs and then we sold at, if this ends up being the lows on Tesla and we end up bouncing up from here and we don't make a new low, I swear to God, I swear to God, like, how many times do I have to perfectly time the market in front of everyone's eyes? I don't know. But regardless, I digress. This is nothing new. Anyway, Tesla is one of the stocks that is very overextended to the downside. And let me just mute this. Tesla is one of the stocks that is very overextended to the downside. I'm expecting a bit of a bounce. All right. So if Tesla is going to bounce, that's bullish for the overall market. Does that make sense? The other stock is Apple. Apple is also clearly showing a lot of strength. It was one of the biggest winners today. With Apple and Tesla both showing strength together, both bouncing together, right? That is a bullish sign for the overall market. And it's just rotation. I would rather be long these stocks that are starting to show some strength instead of long in the IWM. Does that make sense? So with that being said, Apple and Tesla at the lows starting to show some strength. These are trillion-dollar companies. So of course, when they are showing strength, it's a good sign. NVIDIA doing normal NVIDIA things. Normal. This is normal behavior. We had a very, very large move to the upside. And now NVIDIA is just very simply consolidating a bit. Consolidating above 130. Even if it drops down to 128, 129. Very, very safe. Very normal price action. This is not, oh my God, this is bearish on NVIDIA. We had a red day. Zoom out and contextualize what's going on. Everyone took the SATs, right? Contextualize. You guys read a story. If one sentence is, oh, and then he said he doesn't like that person. Contextualize. Maybe he was talking about a story. Maybe he was telling a story. You know, come on. You know. Anyway. NVIDIA showing some strength. AMD bottoming out doesn't look terrible, right? So these stocks are starting to either bottom out or they're holding support. To really drive it home, Microsoft starting to try to hold support, right? 405, 407 area on Microsoft. Really, really trying. Yes, Microsoft does look crappy, right? We could still easily drop down to around 400. How much more room is there? Is the market going to start dropping really, really heavily because of Microsoft? I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, if AMD and NVIDIA and Apple and Tesla are still doing well while Microsoft continues, if Microsoft starts to capitulate, is Microsoft going to drag the market down? I don't think so. Let's see. But objectively speaking, Microsoft does look crappy, but it's also holding support. It's showing some sort of a bottoming. How many messages from random people am I getting, bro? What is this? Okay. Microsoft doesn't look terrible, right? I mean, it looks terrible, but it's not going to be a big mover in the market. Google also starting to try to bottom out. It's at lows. Microsoft and Google are at lows while Apple and Tesla are bouncing. Tesla is also at a low, but Apple is showing strength. NVIDIA is at consolidating after a big move to the upside. If these stocks start to really, really capitulate, so these next few days are going to be very, very important. If Google, Microsoft, these other stocks and everything start to just reverse, then definitely it's not going to be very safe for the overall market. But things are weak at levels of support. Generally speaking, when the overall market is strong, right? Let's just take a deep breath here. Take a deep breath, everyone. Let's just think about this. When the market is strong, when the SP 500, the NASDAQ are starting to show some strength, stocks at support is a good sign, because what do you do at support? You go long, right? Would I go short? Now the question is, would you go short on Google and Microsoft at these levels? Absolutely not. Amazon doesn't look too good. I would probably start going short. Amazon short at around 233, 234 was probably good. And Amazon looks like it has room to go into the 220s. Honestly, let's see. Netflix, piece of crap. Doing great. Meta, also a piece of crap. Doing great. $1 trillion companies at their highs. It's tough to be completely bearish on the market. Does that make sense? When these stocks are at highs, when NVIDIA is bouncing from the depths of hell, very, very difficult to be bearish on the overall market. It's tough. This is a tough little situation that we got here, to be honest. But what can we do? We get the best situation. We get the best opportunities for longs or shorts, and we take them, to be honest. And so far, in my opinion, as long as the S&P 500 can hold above 596 to 598 level, it has more room to go to the upside. And as long as the NASDAQ can hold 518 to 520 level, has more room to go to the upside as well. Last but not least, we can take a look at the VIX. So the VIX, once again, the VIX is important to monitor every single day. Why? Because it has an inverse relationship to the market. If the VIX is rising, then that is bearish for the overall market. The VIX does not look great. It looks like it can drop. Objectively speaking, right now, the VIX looks like it can drop a bit. If the VIX drops, then that's very, very bullish for the overall market. And that should really allow the overall market, the S&P, to break above 605, 607, 606 area. And we're just going to have to see what ends up happening. Now, moving forward. It's very difficult. Aside from, trying to catch almost every single day, we've had a swing trade for a different direction. So a few days ago, I was short. Then we became long. Then we became short. And now, so it's just, during this market environment, you have to be very, very on point. And it's very easy to be chopped around. It's very, very easy to lose your direction and just become very dizzy. So just be very careful. Depending on how far of a time horizon you want to take your trades, trade accordingly. Overall, in the next couple of months, if you were to go long for a couple of months, being long makes the most sense, in my opinion. But again, things change on a day-to-day basis. I'm trying my best. Clearly, we're doing very well in the group with the swing trades. If you guys want access to that stuff, once again, click the link down below. I'm going to try to update you guys as much as possible with these YouTube videos, but almost every day something changes. So, for example, like today, we were short. We covered our shorts this morning, and those puts ended up being 25-30%. So that was pretty good. And then we ended up going long Tesla, and Tesla ended up going, things are going really, really well. But the main thing, guys, out there, you have to be nimble. You have to be very nimble. You have to be very easy to not have a bias. The more you have a bias in this market, the more you're going to lose out on opportunities, and the more you're going to just become dizzy. You're going to lose money. You're going to quit trading if you just go through enough of those instances. So just be very careful. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys. Probably going to go live in a few hours on YouTube. We might talk about a few subjects. We might talk about a few things. So, yeah, I might most likely see you guys on YouTube. But if not, I will definitely see you guys in the Discord tomorrow morning. All right. Love you guys. Have a good one. Take care.